welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Andy, sometimes Mouse, and I talk about books and book-related things, and also sometimes crochet. And today I am talking about my book blanket for this year. If you guys don't recall, I did post videos. We have talking about this book blanket. I think I have a video about the year before that's book blanket. So this was 2023, 2022's book blanket, and then 2024's book blanket is the one that's currently in progress. I'm pretty sure I have a video breaking down that initial process, and I will try and put it in a card somewhere, wherever those end up once I'm done filming. I will try and put them somewhere. Hopefully editing me remembers this. But I wanted to go ahead and give you my 6-month update. So I am gonna probably put a picture of it hereabouts while I talk about it for just a minute, and then I'll show you the whole thing in action. But we're going to talk about how long it's taken so far. The total time that I've spent working on this is 5 hours 42 minutes and about 39 seconds, because initially the rows take me about a minute, and then when I get into the bigger rows it takes me about 2 minutes, and then the center itself took me 40 minutes, and I think that's just because I was having a hard time reading the pattern. It is a very fun project. I'm really glad that I have gone this method instead of any of the previous methods that I've done, because genuinely this is so much easier than the fucking nonsense that I was doing. This blanket ruined my life. I've never hated something more than I hated this book blanket. The other cool thing about this specific book blanket is that it is costing me considerably less money. I had to buy yarn for it for the first time since I bought yarn for it in December yesterday. And it was just the ivory yarn that I'm using to mark when, to get things all up to the same length. So they are a total of 34 rows up. And so whenever I hit the last book of the month, I switch over to that ivory color and go all the way up until I hit 34 rows. This is just so that everything is kind of centered, and I could, in theory, have waited until the end of the year or whatever to do those higher lengths, but I didn't want to, especially because if there is a month that I end up reading more, I almost never read more than 25 books. So if there's a month like last month where I only read 14 books, then it's a little bit tricky to get up past that, because I want things to be connected, and connecting them would be really inconvenient. I learned that a little bit the hard way. So I have had a lot of fun working on this though. The total cost of everything has been about $45 total for the last 6 months, which is not including the this thing that I'm using to track the yarn and the genres so that I can remember, nor is it including the wooden labels that I have across the center. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I talk about all of that in the first video. I am using a 4mm Susan Bates crochet hook for it, and let me show you the big guy. Let's just show you in real quick. She is getting big, which is fun. I was a little bit worried it would be small. I don't know that I can get far enough away. Mr. Moot, the cat's in the way. Yeah, so she's getting quite big, so that's fun. I am really enjoying it. The cat has decided that he's going to sit in my chair, I guess. And June, you can tell that I didn't read anything. But I'm really enjoying it. I think the contrast is very cool. I think it's very notable. The differences in how long I've read, how much I've read, and how much of which genre. I also really like that I don't have to alternate every single color. This month I decided to alternate every color, and then other months I decided, oh, I don't like the look of that so much, so I just would go a few, like this one. I did a bunch of colors in a row, and then one alternate color. And I think that it comes out to just such different and unique patterns every single month, despite being the same crochet pattern and being the same colors. I think that it looks different month to month, and I think that that's really cool. Why are you over here? I guess he's joining us for the rest of this. The total amount of rows is 210 at the moment, because the center is 6 and then 34 each. yeah, I've been enjoying it a lot. The whole thing has just been a lot of fun to put together. The things that I think I would do slightly different is that I think I wouldn't have done the ivory until like 3 months in, so that I could have been able to tell like what I really wanted to do. The other thing is that there have been times where I unintentionally like did a increase and I super did not mean to and was not supposed to, or when I like lost the plot a little bit, and when connecting them it's very tricky. The other thing is that this pattern is not left-handed friendly, which is a little bit frustrating. So I have to work backwards from what the pattern is asking for it to make the most sense. I don't know if that makes sense to you. It might not, but I have to essentially work backwards. And I don't know if that's changing the way that it looks or if it still looks fine. Another thing that I really appreciate about this one is that it doesn't take me as much time. So like I can knock out, like, for example, I know my July TBR already. I haven't crocheted it yet because I wanted to film this, but it'll take me, because it's 15 rows that I'll have, it'll take me just a little bit to knock that out. Like it'll be done in a day or two, versus like this would be like 2 granny squares a day, and it would be an extensive amount of time, and it would use up an extensive amount of yarn. I, for genre yarn, haven't even come close to running out. I opened up the container I used to use all of my yarn, and I was like, okay, cool. I don't need to buy more of this. I just needed to buy more of the ivory yarn. And I did buy 2 skeins of the ivory yarn, and since I ran out of the ivory yarn at row 19 for June, so I imagine, assuming that I read more than I did in June of the rest of this year, I imagine that 2 will hold me over until the rest of the year. So there's a really strong chance that I don't really have to buy any more yarn after this. So $45 across 6 months is about $7.50 a month, which is honestly really, really solid, again, compared to previous book blankets. The last one, it was massive and single rows because I needed help. I don't know, that thing is a mess. Everybody loves that blanket to sleep with, like to snuggle with on my couch, and it is a very good couch blanket, but it is a very ugly blanket. I hate that blanket. And then this one, everyone was like, oh, it's so cool, I'm so impressed, I love it. And I'm like, I hate that blanket more than anything. I hate this book blanket because it took so much time and it was so exhaustive. Thank you, goodbye. It was so exhaustive to make, and I was so happy when it was done. Like I never want anyone to ask me about this book blanket. It just lives there now. Moving it is going to be a bitch when we eventually have to move out of this house. If you want to make a book blanket, and this is the first time you've seen one of my videos, my last video where I talk about my book blanket for this year has a full breakdown of what I would recommend for starting a book blanket, maintaining one, my tips and tricks, etc. That previous video is super helpful. This is genuinely just an update. My mid-year wrap-up also will have the numbers for genres, so I'm not going to put all of that down here. You can go check out the video with the statistics in it, because I don't feel like putting all of the genres in it. But I have not used a whole lot of white. I have not read a lot of romance this year, nor have I done a whole lot of quote-unquote other, which surprised me a bit. I wanted to do a little bit more other because of the sparkles in it, but oh well. And then nonfiction being the black. I almost wish I had done nonfiction as this blue instead of this black. I just didn't expect the nonfiction to be something I read more of than the quote-unquote other. I also wish I had done horror in the thriller color or the sci-fi color, because I think it would have provided more contrast, but anywho. This is the colors of my guest bedroom, so when the book blanket is done, I will put it on the bed in there, and I will show you guys it in there, and you'll be like, oh wow, it really does match. Andy, your brain, incredible, amazing. You'll all be impressed, trust me. And if you're not, don't tell me about it. Anyway, that's it. If you guys have any questions about the book blanket though, please let me know in the comments down below. I have been, some things I do get asked, I've been crocheting since I was a little kid. I think I was like 10 or 11 when I learned, and then I just had kind of passively been doing it this whole time, but it never really stuck until I started the book blanket in 2022, and actually it's more 2021 I started a mood blanket and did not keep up with it, and then I started the book blanket with the yarn that I was using for the mood blanket. I do think a mood blanket would still be cool, but I am not consistent enough about tracking my moods to do that, so here we are. Maybe one day though. Also, my #1 tip for new crocheters is to not start with amigurumi, the little critters. I know you really want to start with those because they're so cute. Don't start with those. Start with granny squares. These things, I cannot emphasize enough how much I hate this book blanket because of how frustrating it was, but my crochet improved by leaps and bounds by doing granny squares, so there's my hot tip for you. That's it though. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and share. Let me know, again, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, I don't know why you'd be concerned. Anything in the comments down below. If you didn't enjoy this video, I'm sorry. I guess let me know how I can make it better for you. I post videos every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, except for the first full week of the month, which means I will see you guys on Thursday. And don't forget to take your meds, drink your water, and do something today to take care of yourselves. Okay, thanks, bye.